When I tell people I haven't seen my family in 10 years, they don't believe it. Like, how can you survive? But survive at all costs, mate. Like, you learn the hard way, you learn to live. Growing up in Libya, all we did was play street football. We didn't go to play for like proper clubs in any sort of junior level. It was all street football. You know, you played twice, 3 times a day at the car park behind the apartment. You know, like some days I'd go home with blood on my feet because the car park has got glass on it from the night before someone broke into a car, and then you just play. You don't care as a kid. You just play, right? So I get a few times I got yelled at for walking into the house with with bleeding feet, but you keep doing it because that's all we did back in the day. My mom was telling me that when I was a baby, my dad would put a ball between my feet. My dad would never play football back in the day, so it was a bit strange. When I moved to Australia back in 2008, my dad got a job at the Libyan embassy in Canberra, so the whole family sort of moved. So I had to give everything up there because I was 14, 15, so I had like a life there. It was like a culture shock when I moved here. Obviously, I couldn't even speak English at the time, but I had to like learn it from scratch. So my dad landed a job at the embassy in 2008, and I was with my family up until 2013. So my dad sort of had like a 4 or 5 year period at the embassy, and it was done. So it was time for him to go back to Libya. Obviously, the whole family had to move back as well. I was in the middle of doing my university studies. I couldn't go back until I finished. The plan was for me to finish uni and then obviously graduate, go back to Libya and just live there. Obviously, land a job over there, but that wasn't the case because of the civil war that was happening in Libya. It wasn't safe to go back. One of the football consultants from Melbourne watched me play in Canberra. And you see my videos because I put like a little highlight videos every end of the season. Contacted me, asked me if I wanted to come to Melbourne and play football over here. So I said, I've heard about Melbourne, Victorian, MPL, one of the best in the country. So I said, why don't I give it a go? Sorry, my second season at Kingston, at the end of the season, I think the second last game of the season against Heidelberg, I've managed to do my ACL, and it wasn't fun. Obviously, I had a lot of time on my hands. I was playing a lot of FIFA. At that time, that year, E-League had just started. So that's how my esports sort of career started, just because I was injured, and obviously if I didn't do my knee, I probably wouldn't be playing esports at all, because one door shuts, another door opens, you know what I mean? So I've been lucky enough to be representing Melbourne Victory since 2018. I've represented them for 5 seasons, and we actually managed to win the whole league, the second seasons.
So Sana's head back in the hands where it belongs, because Mo has got Melbourne Victory back in the lead.
Racing away, there's players in the middle, one of them's R9, and he is on the end of it. And Mo Zwed is finishing the day with a plum up 2-0 before half-time.
The cross into the box, he does have Ronaldinho, and he's won it in the last minute of the game. 2-1, he's defeated the GOAT. It's his first loss in the E-League.
I'm closing to 30 years old. I'm trying to compete with all the young boys, and they all got the quick reaction time. I think probably 1 or 2 more years of me competing, then I'm gonna hang the controller up. People ask me, who's your role model back in the day? I'd say Messi, but it's my dad, he's done a lot for me. Like my dad and my mom both, as I said, he's obviously, where I am today is because of, both of them, both my parents, they've took care of me obviously up until I was 18. When they left, they've obviously took care of my uni fees, which wasn't cheap at the time as an international student. Obviously anything I needed, they were there for me. So everything I did, everything I've achieved so far, I owe to them, and hopefully one day, obviously I'll repay him back, which I would never will. So, I'm grateful for both, and I wouldn't be where I am without them. It has been about 10 years since I last seen them, so I will be obviously, visiting hopefully in a couple of months. I say that every year, but then before, a few years ago, I didn't have my Australian passport, but now I've got my citizenship. I can freely leave the country whenever I please. And then once I had my citizenship and passport, I couldn't leave because of COVID. COVID hit for a couple of years. No one could get in or out. And obviously it wasn't helping obviously with the situation in Libya. But now I think COVID period's gone past. I've got my passport. I've already booked my plane and I'm heading to go see them hopefully in September.